gotten the chance to meet most of you personally. If I haven't, please make sure that we get to at least connect personally by the end of this night. So my name is Kirsten Kirschbaum, and I have flown here from Hawaii. I left yesterday and just got in this afternoon. So it's my privilege. It just took a little while. No, it's actually fine. It was great. I'm so energized, so excited to be here with you all. And I'm going to see where I want to stand right now. I like to move around a little bit. So first of all, I'd like to know, just by the raise of hands, how many of you have been building or even just signed up using essential oils, thank you so much, for 5 years? Okay, awesome. How about 4 years? Okay, we got some 4 years around here. Beautiful. Thank you. How about 3 years? Okay, great. And 2 years? 2 years? 1 year? All right, we got a lot of 1 years. Awesome. How about in the last 6 months? Okay, awesome. I love it. And how about the last 1 month? 1? Okay. How about this is your first time you've ever been to a doTERRA event, ever? Okay, welcome. Oh my goodness. I promise I won't bite. It's super normal and not weird or cultish or anything. So it's all good. So I want to talk to you guys today about a few things that are really important to building a successful doTERRA business. So I thought it would be really nice, and it's going to make me feel a lot better, if I introduce a video of an experience that my husband Kyle and I, along with 35 of our other team members, got to experience recently in Guatemala. We took 2 of our sons. We have 5 boys, by the way, and we took 2 of the older boys with us to Guatemala to do a service trip. And are you guys familiar with the doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation and Co-Impact Sourcing and some of those initiatives? So those are initiatives in doTERRA that mean a lot to us. And we find that when we lead with our heart about the oils and about healing, but also about how we can impact the world in a way much, much bigger than we ever thought possible, that's when our hearts expand, right? That's what lights me up. You can see, like, as I'm talking about it, I get excited, I feel more comfortable and passionate. So I thought it would be nice for me to just start this presentation kind of by way of introduction, showing you guys what we recently just created. And I hope you guys will see how you could also fit into this with us as well, because this is not the last trip.
Right now is to be able to inspire as many people as possible. And when I actually build relationship, it's not building more acquaintance. It's that I want to build relationship at a different level, at a deeper level, where I'm actually, not just saying hi to people, but like, hey, how are you doing, man? That's it,
Just on the drive up here, you kind of get more and more excited because you're seeing the different colors, you're seeing the different villages, you're kind of getting in little bits of how they live. And as a father of 2, my favorite thing is to experience life through my kids' eyes. So that's one thing I can't wait to do here at Sika Bay.
Everyone knew why we were coming here, but none of us quite knew what we would be doing. And so I felt really good having a plan for just how we came in and how we were welcomed, and it was just really peaceful. It felt really good.
The festivities that they prepared for us it was jaw-dropping. The dances, the music, the drums, it was experience of a lifetime. Kids are kids, whether it's in the U.S. or clear over here in Guatemala. So just to experience life through the kids' eyes, sharing those experiences.
My heart is open. open, my eyes are open, and I feel alive for the first time in probably a long time. It was the most incredible experience, really understanding the impact that doTERRA is having around the globe. We got to see just a small snippet of our cardamom oil.
We're harvesting the cardamom plant. It kind of grows out like a root, has a fruit, these little things here on it.
You have a little bottle, right, and you get it, it comes to your house, and you use it, and it smells great, but where did that come from? And where it didn't just kind of drop out of the mailbox, like it came from somewhere, and being here is fascinating to be surrounded by the smell of it, and the touching of it, the education of it. We're learning more about the harvesting process and everything that goes into this, and the care and the arrangement of the plant, and how it's really important to make sure that the quality maintains what it is. So
we went through the whole distillation process, the drying, everything.
When we first started, I didn't really know what to think, but as the minutes, hours have gone by, the mother, I'm assuming, has smiled, and the grandmother for about 5 minutes actually stood beside me, just rubbed my back while I was, tying them up. So I'm assuming that means good job.
Painting their houses, something so simple that we think is so simple that means so much to them, and it's more than just us. People are just in the right spots at the right time.
One of the most treasured things that I'm bringing home with me is the opportunity that I got to participate in Days for Girls, and we were able to educate them, and we were able to love on them, and just completely let you know that we are the same. They're a woman and we're women, and let's talk about what matters and how to care for our bodies and how to take care of themselves and be able to provide them these hygiene kits. It was incredible.
One thing that I've always been passionate about is helping people who are living in poverty, specifically in Latin America. So this is really a dream come true for me to be here. And doTERRA has actually been that vehicle, the business of doTERRA, that has allowed me to fuel that dream and that passion. doTERRA's heart is really, we want you to live well so that you can get out and serve and bless the people in our world.
We personally get to have these relationships with these people and their families. We get to contribute to their lives. And I know that just by being here, we're able to contribute to a higher expansion for everyone, being that example and inviting others to come along with us.
La verdad es de que tanto las personas que reciben a estos grupos, para ellos es una gran bendición y para nosotros es más.
I think that one of the things that I've learned in life is that you can reach a certain level of whether it's success or experience in life, but then you max out. And if you want to grow past that, you have to share that with other people. You have to help other people feel and experience that, for themselves in their own unique ways.
All right, so now you see what I mean. I hope that kind of brings to light a little bit more about the heart of what we're doing and about what you've said yes to by using essential oils and sharing them with other people, that it's so much bigger than ourselves. And I want you guys to know that you're a part of this team. Like, this is you. We will be going on these trips forever, and you can say yes to come with us this year or another year or contribute in other ways, but it's so fulfilling. And I really feel like that's what is one thing that really draws people to doTERRA is the heart. I love how some of the individuals there talked about that just by taking care of yourself and your own body and your own mind, that then you are this light and you show other people that that's possible. And that is really something that means a lot to me. So another thing that I heard in that video was about the business of doTERRA. And that is why I think you guys showed up today. So as most of you probably know, I am a presidential diamond in doTERRA. That means that I have looked at the compensation plan, and I set my sights to the very top, and I thought that's where I'm going to go. So somebody just show me what I need to do, right? So how many of you would like to just be shown what to do? You're good at following instructions, like just tell me what to do and I'm gonna do it type of thing. Awesome, okay. And some of us are maybe not as good at that and we have our own way of getting there and it's all good, right? But I think it's really good to have a clear map and to know what the next steps are. So I have a few different questions I'm gonna be answering. I'm actually drawing from a couple of different presentations because as I thought about what I wanted to share, it's not just a doTERRA business opportunity training, right? I could do doTERRA business opportunity trainings all day long. You guys could probably, some of you do them in your sleep. We use the build guide. I will go over the build guide so you see how I speak about it. But I want to answer a couple of really key questions that I think a lot of people get stuck with when they're looking at building the business. And so that's what my invitation said, right, on our on the Evite. I told you, I promised you that I would be talking to you about how to find builders. Who would like at least one more builder on their team? 1, 2, 3, 10? Yeah, how do you become like this diamond building factory, right? This builder factory. And so I'm going to be answering that question. Also, how do you gain clarity on your message and your mission? Meaning, how do you do doTERRA in your own way, with your own voice, in your own energy, right? Without having to be like a cookie cutter, version of me or of anyone else. You want to be your own person. And you want to be the very best of yourself, right? And also I think really getting clarity on not only knowing who you are, but also the way that you are received by other people. That is probably one of the biggest things that I feel like I've learned in this business, in my relationships, is I know who I am, but I also maybe haven't been as clear on the way that I'm received, right? We know that doTERRA is amazing. We know that co-impact sourcing is the most amazing, beautiful thing ever. Why wouldn't everyone be like jumping at the opportunity to be here, right? And I would dare say that it has to do with our messaging, with our verbiage, with the way that our belief starts, with ourselves about it, and the way that we present that message to others. So I'll be teaching you how I do that. And let's see. Oh, also want to talk again about the doTERRA business plan. I'm going to go through the build guide so you see exactly how I present the business to people. So it helps them make a decision to say yes to work with me. And then lastly, I'll be showing you a little bit about some of the way that Kyle and I organize our year. It's January, if you guys didn't notice, right? It's already in the middle of January. So I want to show you how we organize our time. How do we build? How did we build in the beginning? How do we build now? And what do we spend our time doing in those things, okay? So make sure you guys have paper to write notes. And let's see. Any questions before we get started? Anything that's just totally pressing that someone needs to ask right now? Okay. All right. So first of all, how do I find builders? Most important question. Thanks for being patient with me and my technology. It's my husband's strength. It's not mine. So I can talk all night long. But anyway, okay. So what speaks to your heart? We already did that. Okay. So here's a conversation that I like to have with people, and this is just a very simple, light-hearted way. What if I were just to say to you, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Would you be open to the idea of learning how to create an income with doTERRA? Why is that not showing? Okay. Oh, okay, awesome. All right. So this is one of my scripts that I use. I'm just curious. Are you open to learning more about how you could create an income with doTERRA? Would it be okay if I showed you how to get your oils paid for, or how to get your oils for free? So here's my question to you. I can teach this all night long, right? You can look at me and go, oh wow, Kirsten, that's nice that you would say that. Yep. So here's the thing, and this is if you aren't finding builders, this is my question. You don't have to answer to me, but answer to yourself. How many people have you asked that question to this week? That's like assignment number 1, you guys. Like, it's simple, right? It's a matter of opening up your mouth. So I want to tell you a little story about my mentor. Who here has heard Elise Chedevice speak? Yeah, right? That woman, she taught me almost everything I know. Like, she was the one for me. I mean, I do love my upline also. Melina and Brianna are amazing. But there was something about Elise that when she challenged me to do something, I said, yes, whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it because I want to be like you. So a little crazy, but definitely successful. So she said to me, okay, Kirsten, here's what you're going to do. You're going to talk to 2 new people every single day, Monday through Friday. You can take Saturdays and Sundays off. But you're going to talk to 2 new people every single day about the products or about the business, okay? And if you don't talk to those 2 people, you don't go home or you don't get offline, you don't move on with your day until you do it, okay? So I committed to her that I was going to do it. And she said, guess what? Only 5% of people in doTERRA actually do this. You know, you might say you're going to do it, but only 5% of people actually do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a 5%er for sure. So I was living in Utah at the time, and it was freezing cold outside. It was snowing, and I took my kids to McDonald's. I feel like I need to like backstory the reason why I was at McDonald's, okay? So we were at McDonald's because they have a playland, and I had 3 kids at the time, 3 boys, and I needed to take them somewhere to get some energy out. And I had said to Elise that morning, I will talk to 2 people a day. I will speak this message. And so I'm at the McDonald's playland, and in walks this nice woman and her daughter, like an older woman with her daughter and some grandkids, you know. And I'm like, all right, those are my people. I'm ready to throw up, you know. I'm like, I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it, you know. So I just walk up to them. I'm like, hey, hi, how are you? You know, like, just try to smile as much as possible. And they're like, oh, we're good. Yeah, it's good. So I said, hey, have you guys ever used essential oils before? And they were like, oh, I think we've heard of it. And I was like, so yeah, good. So I'm really into essential oils, and I just wanted to give you these samples. So there you go. Okay, have a good day. Okay. I'm like, I did it. I freaking did it. Like, yes, check, you know. So that is my story of committing to 2 people a day, right? I didn't even follow up. We're not even talking about follow-up yet. I just told them I was going to do it. So I did it. And I maintained that consistency. And of course, I got better at sampling to people and starting conversations and not being weird. But the point is this. You don't have to be perfect at it. You have to commit to doing it. That's the thing. You, by practicing, is when you actually get better. I could tell you story after story of complete fails that I've had in my business, and people are like, oh, how are you so successful? I'm like, I failed a lot. Like, I think I just wasn't afraid to fail, or my fear of failure was not as strong as my desire to succeed. So you really have to ask yourself that when you feel uncomfortable. Is your fear of failure stronger than your desire to succeed? And when maybe it is, if your actions are not leading you to those income-producing, result-producing activities, you really need to reevaluate and look at why you're doing this. Why did you show up? What do you love about doTERRA? What is your real why, right? And look at what you're calling into your life in that way, okay? So that is script number 1. Simple. How many people are you going to speak that message to? My goodness, this keeps timing me out. Okay, so the next thing is, what are your personal development rituals? So this is something that is so, so key. I remember when I was first doing doTERRA, I had hit silver. Took me about 1.5 years to like get into the kind of vibe of the business to hit silver. And I started listening to some personal development audios. And there was a man by the name of Michael Klaus, and he had some just kind of everyday listening, like you just pop it in, you just start listening to it, kind of like affirmations and positive thinking and things like that. And he was talking about how if you want to attract someone into your business who is as capable or more capable than you in doing this, you got to get a lot better, you know? And I realized at the time it felt scary to me because I realized I'm not very good. And I think that there's a difference between your worth and your value is really high, right? Like you're a child of God, you're a beautiful person, right? But you may not be very good at speaking to others about doTERRA. And that's okay because you need to learn, right? So what are your personal development rituals? So mine look like this. So I have a few different Audible books, meditations, even affirmations that I'll talk to you about in just a minute, that I listen to every day. So it's like clockwork. Because here's what happens, even for me, it's like I'm not exempt from this, even at the level that I'm at. I wake up in the morning and sometimes things are funky. Emotions are low, emotions are high. Things happen where you second guess yourself. And you know that you were excited and that you felt like you really wanted to do it. But then, there you are. Everywhere you go, there you are. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay. So what I do is like an exercise. It's like when you go to the gym, you're working out a muscle. You're getting better at your personal development routines. And so what I'm suggesting to you is that you have these routines on your phone so that you don't have to think about like, oh, what am I going to do or what am I going to listen to today to get myself in a really high vibe place. It's you wake up and you press play. Does that make sense? Do you guys have Audible or Kindle or, yes, I'm seeing, does anybody not have Audible or Kindle? Okay, so would you be open to like downloading an app where you could listen? Yeah, cool. So I always have headphones with me, so if I'm in the car or at a doctor's office or a soccer game or anything like that, like I just pop in. Sometimes, or a lot of times, I'm walking around my house with my 5 little boys and I've got one headphone in and then the other ear is, I'm very good at multitasking. But I'm going to, again, it's about committing. If you say that you're going to work on your daily personal development routines, then you're going to do it, right? And if your business from this day forward doesn't grow, you're going to go back and really, we've already learned 2 really key things, right? We've already learned 2 things. Like if you just put these 2 things into practice, you will see your business grow. And that is speaking the question, I'm curious, are you open to learning more about making money with doTERRA, right? And you know what's good about that is as you're going through your list of people, you figure out who's open to it and who's not. Like, great, tell me no. Sometimes I do text splits, like where we'll take 30 minutes and we text, a bunch of people about oils or the business, and I give a prize for the person who gets the most no's. Because at least you know what I mean? Like, tell me no, and I'm going to say not right now, because I don't really believe that no is really the final no. But isn't it nice to know who is absolutely not interested in working with you? That way it frees up space for you to be like, okay, next, great. Now I'm narrowing in my market. I know who I'm going to be working with. So don't be afraid to ask that question. And secondly, get clear on your personal development routine. So again, the ones that I use are Audible. I like to listen to like a spiritual book. So like The Law of Divine Compensation would be a really good one. I love that one. I like to listen to like more technical things. Like I like to follow Big Al. Have you guys ever heard Big Al before? Oh my gosh, he's so good. Have you? yeah. So Big Al is good because he's all about skill building. So my suggestion is watching a skill building presentation. There's a lot of them. Kyle actually does Power Talk Tuesday. Who's ever heard Power Talk Tuesday? Awesome. And they're recorded. So if you didn't catch it, when it was your time to do your personal development, you go back and watch a recording of him. So that's my suggestion, having more of like an energetic, like high vibe, spiritual type of thing, whatever that means for you, and then listening to someone who's going to teach you about the practicality of the business, okay? So that's skill number 2 that we do. This is going to drive me nuts. Okay, so here's the next one. Is your level of belief the same or more than the people that you lead? So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like absolute 100%, I'm a 10 on this. 1 being I really am awful, I have a really hard time with this one, okay? So number 1 is, how would you rate yourself on your belief in doTERRA as a company? The legitimacy of doTERRA, the owners, the leaders, the process, the oils, certified pure therapeutic grade, using essential oils aromatically, topically, and internally. When I'm saying these things, are there any little things that come up for you where you're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about that? You know what I mean? So rate yourself, and you don't have to share it, but I'll just scale 1 to 10. Be honest. Where do you fit in with that level of belief with doTERRA? Okay? The second question is, what is your level of belief in network marketing? Just in general. Do you have network marketing blocks? Do you kind of go to your friends and you're like, it's like one of those things, it's not a pyramid. It's not a pyramid. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it is a pyramid, but the pyramid is the strongest structure of all things in the world. Don't you know this? The government is set up like a pyramid, and the Boy Scouts are a pyramid, and it's just fine, And people are like, yeah, I actually like those pyramid things. Why are you defending yourself? Like, you have network marketing issues. I don't have network marketing issues. I think it's the best thing ever. I feel like people should actually create a network marketing type of structure and compensation plan for everything. I have a lot of friends who are really amazing photographers, right? And they have this beautiful business, and I'm thinking, is there some way that like you could have other photographers and then you could teach them about photography and then you would actually make money and you're totally incentivized to help their businesses grow? That makes sense, right? This is beautiful. And network marketing is the wave of the future. We are a social media, person-to-person culture, right? We're not believing the big corporate lies anymore. We're not believing like all that, you know, yeah, I won't get into that. That's political, okay? I'm going to stop right there. But you know what I mean? So 1 to 10, you guys, where are you at? Are you ashamed in the least that you're doing network marketing? Or do you feel like you can confidently shout from the rooftops, like, I do network marketing, it is the most amazing thing. Let me just tell you about it, okay? Because you would be an idiot not to look at this. This is exactly what I'm doing and I love it. So, and understand that I had those same feelings in the beginning. So it's not like you're bad if you genuinely are a little bit weirded out by it, right? So it's fine. Okay, and question number 3 is, how strongly do you believe in yourself? And that's a big one, right? How strongly, you might believe in doTERRA, you might believe in network marketing, but you don't have a super strong belief that you can do it. And that's key. So scale of 1 to 10. I think it's really, really valuable for you to look at your paper right now and maybe just circle one of those areas that you could improve on. Okay, and I'll give you some suggestions on what I would do to improve those things. Okay, number 1, improving your belief in network marketing is all about following Eric Worre and the GoPro system. That guy's a genius. I love him and Marina. I have spoken on his stage before because he knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to network marketing. And he has, I'm sorry? Worre, W-O-R-R-E, Network Marketing Pro. He has at least, they have 2 events per year. They have a GoPro Recruiting Mastery and a Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing event, which is one of my personal favorites. I love that event. They're both in Las Vegas. And I would encourage you, if you have kind of some issues there, just up-level. Get better at your skill of being able to explain the profession that is network marketing. That's actually one of the things I'm doing here in Florida. Does anyone, I mean, you guys know who John C. Maxwell is for the most part? Yeah. So he's actually, I feel like he's like the leadership guru. I've been using his books to train my team forever. And he has invited me to come to Florida and meet with him and his group to kind of collaborate on the network marketing space. So that's actually like, that's what I'm doing here. I, of course, started with the doTERRA meeting and wanted to meet all of you here. But additionally, that's what I'm doing. I'm working with John C. Maxwell and helping him understand network marketing and really bringing like his flavor to the network marketing space. So it's very cool. So you gotta know, if John C. Maxwell is noticing that network marketing is legit and that people are really, really into it, like there's a lot of validity there, right? One more thing there. There's a video on my website. Okay, so my website is essentialoilexpert.com. You might be able to find this on Eric Worre's website also, but I don't know how to explain it to you to find it there, so you know, be resourceful and go Googling. But on my website, if you go to essentialoilexpert.com and you click on the members area, hopefully you all know this, the password is let me in, and it'll ask you which of the 3 things do you want to do, live, share, build. If you click on build, and actually, that's a great place to go, but I'm going to tell you somewhere else, okay? I'm going to tell you directly. I just remembered where it is. essentialoilexpert.com/Y, W-H-Y. So one thing I've learned in different network marketing trainings is that we all need a very simple business presentation to give someone. So like if you don't feel confident in speaking about the business yet, maybe you just got started or maybe you still are confused about what you should be sharing, we created this page on our website. I call it the why page because it's why should you do doTERRA as a business? Hi, I just realized who you are. Sorry, I know it, yes. So, you know when you see like old friends, you're like, oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what I love about this. So essentialoilexpert.com/why gives you the videos from Eric Worre that explains the business. It's awesome. It's actually a 45-minute presentation where he goes through and interviews top business leaders, like network marketers, non-network marketers, and completely proves the case that network marketing is by far the best business opportunity ever. Okay? So watch that video. If you were low, or even if you weren't low on that scale of 1 to 10 on the network marketing, that's going to be one of your best tools to up-level that belief. Okay? So on the second thing, on the doTERRA thing, well, you're all here, and we are going to be talking about oils. I will be available for questions, and I think I would guess that most of you believe in doTERRA, and that that's probably the one that you were the highest in, which is why you're here, and you know that doTERRA is now the largest essential oil company, and that we're continuing to grow and grow, and my advice to you here is just to always continue to show up to the doTERRA events. So that would be if, you know, the post-convention tour, the wellness prosperity summits that doTERRA will be doing throughout the year, and, you know, events like this, of course. Those events are where you have your own personal breakthroughs. Actually, Melissa and I were just talking about events, and I was telling her the cool thing about going to events is if you have been speaking about something for a long time, but then you bring, you know, some of your team members there, and all of a sudden, like, someone said it in a different voice, and you're like, I've been saying that same thing forever. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I get it now. I get why you love doTERRA, you know? So it doesn't really matter whose voice it comes in. My advice to you is, you know, kidnap people if you have to, but get them to the events, because that's where they're going to have their own personal breakthrough. So that means convention, that means leadership if you're silver and above, that will be in Orlando in March. Things like that, those are non-negotiables for me. I always make sure that I attend those events. And honestly, like when people say, oh, I'm not able to make it, I always ask them why. Okay, well, tell me about why you're not able to make it, because I want them to give me their maybe very valid excuse, but an excuse nonetheless. And I have been known to hire babysitters, call people's bosses, like whatever I have to do to get them off work and to get their kids taken care of, because I believe in the power of events so much. So that will raise your level of belief there, okay? So let's talk about the third question, or I don't remember what order I did it in, but your belief in yourself. This is going to be an ever-changing thing. Like, I hate to break it to you, but you'll get to a level, and then all of a sudden you'll need to elevate your belief in yourself again, right? And I even do the same thing, right? I'm flying across the country, and part of me is like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I'm going to go talk to John C. Maxwell, like, oh my gosh, you know, oh, I need some oils, where's my oil? You know, and then on the other hand, I'm like, I got this. You know, do you guys know what I mean? Like, you get in this vein, and my advice to you is do a lot of work when you're feeling real good. You know what I mean? Because it might go down for a little while, and you come back up, and you're like, I'm back. Okay, you know, I curled my hair today, like I got an outfit on, I'm looking good. So when you're feeling good, do a lot of work. And when you're feeling lower, sit back. Just pay attention to that cycle and be okay with that cycle, you know? So your level of belief is something that will always be a continual progress, okay? So don't judge yourself on where you're at right now. Just observe it and realize that we all need skills to up-level our beliefs in ourselves, no matter where we're at, okay? All right, moving right along. Oh my gosh. This is my son's iPad. I don't know how to use it. Okay, this is a good one. This is so good. I love this one. What would the diamond you do? Okay, so raise your hand if Julie Hinton is in your upline. So Julie Hinton is my sister-in-law. You may not even know, but Julie Hinton is my sister-in-law, and she worked really hard and sampled out and found the amazing Ange Peters. That was her enrollment, and thank you so much, because that is an empire. And most importantly, the women that empire attracts blows me away. It's not about, like, you know, the ranks and like all that. It's the energy. When someone friend requests me, I can almost always tell when they're from that team because of the way that you carry yourselves. It's beautiful. So I remember having a conversation with Julie, who has just been on her own journey. Like, imagine, I'm just going to be real with you, okay? Imagine that you enroll a Presidential Diamond Founder of Canada, and you're still like a silver. You know what I mean? And you're kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know if I can talk to any of these people. Like, there's a lot there, you know? And so as I've been working with Julie, and she's done a lot of her own work, she just hit diamond, by the way. And it's more fun when your family hits diamond, you guys. Like, I'm just telling you, like, just a little extra special thing when you get to help someone who is that close to you. So don't be afraid to invite people who you know. I know I hear that a lot, like, oh, I don't want to talk to people that I know. I'm like, well, let's check your level of belief in doTERRA, because if you really believe and you understand what it is, you want to share it with people that you care about. So I digress. So Julie, we were having a conversation one time, and she was, you know, stuck on a few different things, and my husband said to her, he goes, well, what would the diamond Julie do? So that's my question to all of you. What would the diamond you say in a situation with builders, or in a situation sampling, in a situation teaching classes? What does the diamond version of you say? And you need to kind of channel that a little bit, right? And go forward a little bit, and just, you know, get in a space where you're like, wow, I can barely fathom what it would be, but if I was the diamond version of myself, how would I approach that business builder? There's more confidence there, right? Because you're not this like, oh, well, I don't know. Oh, and here's a great question. Sometimes people ask, well, how much money did you make in your first month, right? And you know what I say to that? I don't know, I'm still making money on the people that I signed up the first month, 8 years later. So that's like a forever thing, right? Good one. Little nugget right there. Put that in your pocket. Okay. I am sure there's a setting. Okay. This.
That's that nugget that I've been needing.
Yay!
Because that's my biggest struggle.
Yeah.
That's maybe where my belief is stuck.
Right.
Because I've been in it for so long and starting over, and that's that question where it's like, well, how much do you make? And I notice now, like,
Yeah.
I shut down. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. So let's talk about reconstructing the way. So this is also looking at your level of belief in yourself and looking at up-leveling that. So this is huge. You guys, this blows my mind. Like, I'm addicted to doing this now. I can't even stop manifesting stuff because I am just fascinated with what I'm able to create in my brain. So I'm going to start with, I'll tell you 2 stories about this, and I hope that you'll really, really catch the vision and the power of what this means. So in your brain, I'm not going to get too scientific on you, okay, just trust me, but in your brain there are neurological pathways that you automatically process through when you're driving home. Some of you may live around here. You might get home and not even remember what happened or how you got there. You just drove home. Your brain knew how to do it, right? Same thing, you know, when you wake up in the morning, the things that you do on a regular basis. You're like, 2 hours goes by and you're like, oh, what was I doing? I don't know. So there are certain patterns, and I notice this even with my husband. Like, I have been really noticing, like, if he does this, then I'm going to react like this. And it's not always positive, right? And it triggers me, and I get triggered all the time with him. And I love it, but we work from home, and we have 5 kids, and wow, there's a lot there, you know? And so I'm just noticing my part in it, and the pathways that I have. I also, right now, I'm in the middle of a 30-day cleanse. And so I have gotten rid of meat, dairy, sugar, and caffeine. I'm also doing like Zendocrine and Terrazyme. I feel amazing. I thought I was going to feel a lot worse. I actually feel amazing. But what I've noticed is I have triggers. So when my kids get home from school around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like this instant wave. I need caffeine. I have to have caffeine. I have to have sugar. I need some kind of like external stimulant so that I'll be able to handle all of this madness, you know? And I don't mean that they're awesome, but there's just 5 of them, you know? And they're like really intense, you know? So I was noticing I have these neurological pathways in my brain that tell me, oh, when you feel this, then you do this. When you feel this, then you say this. When you feel this, then you need this, right? Do you guys follow me? Do you feel these things in your own life? There are certain patterns, right? So these can be reconstructed. You can literally get out like a jackhammer and just jackhammer that pathway out of there and start creating new neurological pathways. It's true. So when I was silver, so here's what happened for me, okay? I was silver, and I really, really needed to go diamond. And when I say needed, I mean like, it was like, I'm going to go diamond or I'm going to die, Like, that's how intensely I needed it. And I promise you, if you needed diamond that bad, you would do it. You would have to, you know? And I don't recommend, like, creating some scenario where you have to have diamond, you know what I mean? But that's the situation I was dealt with in my life. We had no money, we were living with my in-laws, and we had 3 kids, and I have to get out of here. I was like a caged lion, you know? I'm like, okay, doTERRA's my way out, I'm going. So I did Diamond Club, and I went from silver to diamond in 4 months. And what that looked like, just so you know, it was 4 classes a week. It was eat, sleep, breathe, doTERRA. Like, repeat, 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 right? So you don't have to do that. So don't let that scare you. But that was my path. That's what I chose to do, and that's how I was going to do it. Momentum loves speed, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep going. So during each of my presentations, I had a little plastic diamond that I carried around with me in my pocket every single time I went out. And I just would pat it, just kind of remind me, like, diamond, you know, it's getting you out of your mother-in-law's house. Little did I know, and isn't it amazing the way that, like, that's what motivated me, like, whatever it takes, you know? I had no idea that it was going to turn into, like, all of this, and thank goodness that it did. But really, it was just that little why that I had, that big why. And so I just pat that little diamond in my pocket. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I would go to the classes. Sometimes people would show up. Sometimes people wouldn't show up. I would just keep going, right? And so on the day that I was going diamond, July 31st, 2012, I believe, I was doing an event at a big spa. And I was running around the spa. We had all these cool stations, self-care and, you know, skincare and all the cool stuff that doTERRA has. And at this spa, I was looking for a pen. And this is my night. It's July 31st. I have to hit diamond tonight to be able to walk at convention. So I'm like, this is a big event for me. So I'm walking around, and I've never been to this spa before. I'm just like opening drawers looking for, you know, a pen. So I opened this drawer. Guess what was in the drawer?
Young Living.
Diamonds. No way. Diamonds. Hundreds of these little plastic diamonds. Like, I opened the drawer. My jaw just dropped. I'm like, what? Like, I was just amazed, like, that I could channel so clearly this, right? And then I was like, wait. I didn't mean plastic diamonds. I mean doTERRA diamonds. Like, I need doTERRA diamond. This plastic diamonds is not going to get me out of my mother-in-law's house, you know? So, thankfully, the universe knew what I meant, right? And all the hard work that I had put in, you know, knew what I meant. So, but I just think it's really interesting to look at the pathways and the attraction that you are creating. I channeled it so clearly that I actually attracted even a drawer full of diamonds, right? So, moving forward, just recently, those of you who follow Kyle and I on social media, you kind of know, you follow our Instagram story, you laugh at all the crazy stuff that our kids are doing, but we recently moved to Hawaii about 5 months ago. And 2 years ago, we had this very kind of like uneasy feeling in Las Vegas. We loved Vegas, it was good to us, but we knew that it wasn't where we were supposed to be, but we didn't know where we were supposed to go. So we were getting this itch, right? We're just kind of like, what should we do, what should we do? And I spent a lot of time manifesting and praying and meditating, like, what is it, where am I supposed to go, what am I supposed to do? And I received this feeling and this vision of moving to Hawaii and what my house would look like, and exactly like where the garage is and how the light comes in on the floor in the hallway, and the way the kitchen, the color of the kitchen countertops, and the birds, the types of birds that are flying low across my lawn, okay? So I wrote this down, and this is what I want to teach you about these neurological pathways. I wrote this vision down. I wrote what it looked like, what it smelled like, what the colors were, who was with me, what we ate that day, how I felt about it, the whole thing. The whole house, the whole Hawaii was completely written down. And I listened to it twice a day, morning and night. I would just press play on my phone, that first thing I taught you, right? The personal development. I just listened to it twice a day. And Kyle had his own version of that same thing. We actually did that exercise separately, where we wrote down like what we wanted to create separately. And he did that, and I had mine. And fast forward to where we are now, I can tell you, honestly, it is the exact house. The countertops are the right color. The light comes in the hallway the right way. The white birds fly low across that grass, like every time we mow the lawn. the garage has workout equipment in it, and he walks the same, like, I'm telling you, it's exact. It blows my mind to even tell a story. Like, it is amazing what you can create in your mind. Now, were there times, like 100 times in my life when I was, from the 2 years ago to now, that I didn't believe, or that I felt low vibe about it, or that I was like totally just junky in my head and stressed out and judged it and was afraid of it, tried to talk myself out of it? Yeah, for sure. But so what? Sometimes you have to get out of your own way, Get yourself, when you're in a really good place, maybe after coming to a training like this, I hope you're feeling good, and take the time to write out your dream day. Maybe your goal is diamond by the end of this year. Maybe your goal is gold, or something else, right? Or maybe it's not even a rank. It's like creating something new for yourself. Write it down, get out your phone, record your voice, telling yourself the way that it is, not the way that it's going to be, but the way that it is, present tense, and just listen to it every day. You will create it, I promise you. It's amazing, and I can't promise you how long it'll take or whatever. For me, that big of a dream was 2 years. And in that 2 years, man, I tell you what, the whole journey of all the lessons were there for us to learn. But that is the secret sauce. That's actually the stuff that John Maxwell's team has asked me to come and present on to all of them. So you're getting the little kind of mini version of it, because I'm kind of really trying to help you guys see the way that it would apply in your business. So another one that I did was when I walk across that purple carpet as a new diamond, right? What dress are you going to wear? What song are they going to play? Who's going to be there? Kirsten's going to be there, I guarantee you. Kirsten gives me a hug at the end of that purple carpet and looks me in the eye and tells me I knew you could do it, right? Yeah. Please include me in your dream day. I would just say that. Anyway, so that's really, really powerful. That's something that Kyle and I do regularly to help actualize our goals. Okay, so here's another thing about finding builders. Okay, let me see how I'm doing on time. Okay, so here's another thing about finding builders. Here's the beautiful thing about doTERRA. We live, we share, and we build, right? Those are the three pathways, in doTERRA. We all love to live. Some of us like to share. A few of us want to build. And that's great. We love everyone. So I think really just identifying your list of people who you currently know and who you've been working with, and really looking at having, again, going back to point number one, how many of those people on that list have you even asked if they're open to learning about how they could make money with doTERRA? Have you already prejudged them? Maybe you have. And maybe you might be surprised if you just asked all of them, right? And just see what happens, right? So I think that it's really key to know your own value of what you're creating. So one thing that I did when I was going for diamonds, so to be a diamond, you have to have 4 silvers, right? And so I went to my 4 potential new silvers, and I just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. With so much energy. I'm like, you guys, I'm getting out of my mother-in-law's basement, first of all, okay? So you can I guarantee you this is happening. You can hook your train onto my train, and we will go. The doTERRA train is leaving. I will teach with you. I will build with you. I will talk to your new builders. I will do anything you need. But we are going together. Do you want to be on this journey with me, right? Could you have a conversation like that? And the real question is, I can have that conversation because I believe it. I know where I'm going. I'm totally dedicated to it. And people are attracted to others. They want to build with you when you have that confidence. If I'm kind of like, I think I'm going to do this doTERRA thing. It's it's cool. It's really cool. I like the oils a lot. Yeah, it's good. Do you think maybe you want to do it? Or what do you think? You might get some people. I'm not saying you won't get some people, but I don't know. Maybe they're not really the kind of people, you know what I mean? So let me put it to you a different way. What if you and I were going to start a t-shirt company, okay? And so we're going to make really cool t-shirts. They got the cool, oh my gosh. You know the missile scare in Hawaii on Saturday? Okay, I won't go down that road. But somebody sent me a picture of a t-shirt that said, I survived the Hawaii missile scare 2018. I do not want that shirt. Okay, side note. Okay, you can ask me questions about that later if you want. So, t-shirt company. Okay, so we're starting a t-shirt company. Okay, Melissa, you and I, we're gonna start a t-shirt company. We love cool t-shirts, and we get all the stuff together, and we show up the first day, and I'm like, hey, will you just hang out in the store for a little while? I'll be right back. I'm good. I'll be right back, but I'm just gonna go over here for a little while because I got some other stuff I gotta do, right? And you're like, maybe the first day you're kind of like, all right, yeah, I like Kirsten, so maybe that's cool. But then like the second day, like I show up 30 minutes late, you know, and you've been sitting there. And you're just kind of, and I have the key. So you're sitting outside and it's raining because it's Florida and it's cold, like 60, right? It's freezing. And, you know, second day you're like, what? Third day, I don't even show up. And what, are you going to keep showing up?
I'm a Jersey girl. I'm going to come find you.
Right? Yeah. She didn't come find me, which is probably a good thing. So that's not a bad quality. But I want you to understand, like with your doTERRA business, like have you been consistently showing up? This is a business, like not like and it's okay if you just want to share and just have fun and be relaxed about it, and then that's the results that your business will bring, and that's okay. Like I'm not judging it, but I think you guys are all here to learn from someone who has built a massive doTERRA organization and know that I eat, sleep, and breathe doTERRA. Like it's what I do, and you know that. That's why you showed up today, right? That's why some of you flew here, because you knew that I was going to bring it with like all the confidence and energy that I really truly have. And that's why people want to build doTERRA with me, right? So for each of you individually, just understand that wherever you're at right now is great, and you need to up level. Okay, we all, even I, need to up level, right? So if the level of builders and the quantity and quality of builders who you have been bringing in up to this point is not totally at your satisfaction, then you need to really look at the way that you personally are showing up to that t-shirt store, your doTERRA business, every morning. Because when you start wavering a little bit, then people feel that energy shift and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can partner with you because I'm not sure if I trust this business relationship, right? And because that doesn't mean they don't trust the oils. That doesn't mean they don't trust doTERRA. They love that. But the partnership with you is really where I feel like a lot of people get stuck, right? And they're like, why can't I find builders? Well, you got to look at how you're showing up, right? And even if you're doing your best, because I always want to soften it. I don't want like anyone to feel bad, but I just want you to look at how you could do better or how you could learn something differently that maybe you weren't doing before, right? Okay, so I just want to tell a quick story. So I want to talk about your diamond list. This is also known as a chicken list. These are the people that scare the crap out of you to talk to, okay? And I just want to, I know we all have them. I actually even have them too. I think like, for example, Elena Brower. Do you guys know Elena Brower? Or, you know, she spoke at convention. She's a really well-known yogi, beautiful woman. She spoke at convention, and my thought was, well, who the heck enrolled her? Right? Who dared to talk to her? Like, she didn't obviously like look like she needed a doTERRA business, but when she understood the mission and the culture and the possibility, like, she said yes to it because she's a smart woman. So my advice to you is look at the people on your diamond list that scare you the most to talk to and get that over with, okay? Because you might actually be surprised that some of them would be open or curious to learning about how to make money with doTERRA, okay? So my diamond list, there's a few. This is actually Kyle's handwriting. This really was his. So there's one on here that is Melford and Conchetta Bibbins, and they live in Sarasota. And there's one person I know for sure on their team. I don't know. Is anyone else on Melford and Conchetta's team? Okay, so we got one. So they live in Sarasota, and Kyle was business partners with them for 10 years in an online marketing company. So they're very successful, like multi-million-dollar earners, you know, and we kind of just look at them like, oh my gosh, if we could get them to do doTERRA, that would be amazing, right? So I came to Florida, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not even 4 times, 5 times of coming here, maybe one time sending them a text message like, hey, I'm in town, you guys want to get together? No, we're busy. I'm like, I flew to Florida. I mean, I had other things going, but my intention was to connect with them. That's how important they were to me to be in my business. So another time I came and took her out to lunch, right? And we talked a little bit about doTERRA, but it was more about like just building a relationship. Because with people who are like that, who are influencers, and they're very busy, and they got a lot going on, they just, maybe they're open to like getting to know you and seeing what you're about, but that's where your confidence comes in. And you don't have to like just pitch them on the business right away. You know what I mean? It's more with someone like that, with like a big time influencer. It's about building a relationship with them and bringing value to them, okay? So on that 5th visit, I had Kyle come out with me this time. And in the meantime, just so you know, I was like prospecting spas and yoga studios. I would just walk into salons and just, I'm a rep for doTERRA, so do you guys want some samples? You know what I mean? Just simple, right? Just going out. Remember the thing that Elise taught me, the 2 people a day? I'm like, it can't be worse than what I did at McDonald's. So it's going to get better. And I did commit to doing 2 people a day. So I'm in Florida. So who am I going to talk to? I did that even this time. I have people that are on my chicken list or my diamond list, and I message them and just let them know that I was here and I'd love to connect with them. And they turned me down this time. So I made a whole 14-hour trip for nothing. No, I'm just kidding. For lots of things. But my point is just multitasking your trips, right? So on my 5th time here, we took Melford and Conchetta out to dinner. And of course, we got like our oils in our water, and we're just being cool with our oils, and we weren't talking about it, but we're like kind of talking about it. And we just kind of nonchalantly let them know, like, oh yeah, we're actually out here in Florida looking for our presidential diamond leg. So we're looking for like someone that we can partner with. Maybe you know someone who would be interested in that. That's a really, really good one, right? Because then they're like, oh, well, maybe it's me. I don't know. Why didn't you ask me to do it, right? So think about that. And that kind of takes some pressure off, right? So when you're approaching someone who's really busy, really successful, would be really great if they just kind of understood. You could explain it to them in a way that feels a little bit more comfortable, maybe for you and for them. So I know you're super busy, but maybe you know someone who might be open to partnering with me in my health and wellness business. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some team leaders that I can build a business with. Do you know anyone that you could refer me? Right? I do this with influencers on Instagram. I do this with influencers, like blogging influencers, Facebook influencers, things like that as well. So don't be afraid to just ask, right? If you don't ask, the answer is no. Thank you. So with Melford and Conchetta, we kind of, nonchalantly talked about it. And by the end of that dinner, they were like, we want to be your presidential diamond leg. We are doing this. They were so excited. They signed up with an every oil kit, and they are going blue diamond this month. Wow. Yes. Awesome. So awesome. Okay, so. Okay, so this is just a different way. I think we've kind of already covered this, but just looking at your current members, we're not necessarily talking about brand new people, but just looking within your organization. Maybe you've got 5 people on your team, you've got 50 people on your team, and just really taking the time to call each one of them, and that takes time, right? But how cool is that customer service? Like, does any of the company, does Costco call me? No, they don't. And do I spend $800 a week on them? Yes, I do. That's because I have a lot of boys. Anyway, so when you call your current members, and you could just ask them, and maybe you don't ask them right away, are you open to the idea of creating an income with doTERRA? But maybe you just ask them, what do you like about your oils? How's it working for you? What are you loving right now? Do you know about loyalty rewards? We have the reactivation campaign going on right now, right? Have you guys been using the reactivation? By a show of hands, who's been using the reactivation campaign? So the reactivation campaign is where you can call anyone who has been enrolled in doTERRA previously and they have not ordered in the last 4 months. And if they reactivate, they can reactivate and do an order. If they do 200 PV, I think did that end on the 15th though? Yeah, so that's okay, but you guys understand that that was available, right? So they could have gotten, if they did a loyalty order, they would have gotten Breathe, On Guard, Wild Orange, and Frankincense, all free. Like, that's awesome, just from a phone call. And like, even if they didn't do it, I guarantee you they would appreciate you calling them. I hear all the time, well, I signed up in doTERRA, but I don't know, nobody ever talked to me about it again. I don't really know who my upline is. And every time I hear that, I'm like, if anyone on my team ever says that, like, I don't, and you know what I say to them? I'm like, hey, I guarantee you've got a diamond upline who is awesome. You might just have to kind of reach up a little bit if you really want the information. But how much better would it be if you, as their enroller, or even as just the team leader in that organization, did some customer service and really made a difference? That is a unique thing in today's, kind of digital age, right? So reaching out to people is really, really important. Okay. All right, so in finishing up, I want to move into some of the tools, right? So I told you I was going to talk about the tools that we have. So here's what's cool, you guys. There have been many, many different ways to build doTERRA, and I think that probably one of the hardest things with this business is really that there's so much information, right? Like it's just a lot. It's like essential oil education and sharing and hosting a class and then building and learning the comp plan, understanding placements and things like that. And what happens is doTERRA attracts a lot of really powerful type A creator personalities. And so I, and Kyle especially, likes to recreate everything, like the whole essential oil expert and all the training, and it's in Spanish, which is good. And it's like the whole thing is like recreated. And Ange has done the same, right? Like Ange has her whole toolbox and the kit, like it's amazing. It's like a Google Doc heaven. Like it's amazing. And Melina Harrison, my upline, she has her Team EO Pro. Like there's a lot of really great tracks for you to follow. But my advice is pick one and stick to it, okay? So here's the cool thing. doTERRA as a corporation realized that most people, not everyone, but most people were using the Share Success guides, right? Because they are so beautiful. They have done an excellent job. And so over the last 6 months or so, a little longer, they have had an advisory board that they called, we'll say. If you were at convention, they all came up on stage. So it was like Kyle's a part of it, and the Goddards and Laura Jacobs and some other really amazing presidential diamonds. So they partnered with doTERRA to create one systematic way of teaching people, and it is using the Share Success guides, which is nice. So it's not too far off what we were already doing. But the good news is that you can find them on doTERRA's website right now. So here's how you do that, okay? So when you log into doTERRA.com, you can go to our advocates, and then, oh, you can't see that very good at all, huh? Do you know how to fix it? Like if I fix it, it'll like blow up or something. Beautiful. That was easy. Yes. Thank you. You guys, can we give Brittany a round of applause? Because she scored this place for us, and her dad, I think he's out there. His name is Greg, right? Yeah. We guys just give Greg like a high five on your way out or something, because he created this whole space, and it means a lot. I'm so grateful. Okay, so our advocates empowered success. So that's actually how you find it, you guys. Like it's all doTERRA. So it's nice, because I still may use my website, Essential Oil Expert. I like it, I like the flow of it and everything, but like you don't have to. I'm just kind of like an old dog learning new tricks, right? But this is like team-wide. You don't have to recreate anything else. It's all right here on doTERRA's website. People can buy those guides directly from doTERRA, right? Which is kind of nice, so they don't have to go all over to lots of different sites to purchase their materials for training. So I love that. Super great. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like when you click on there. You've got Empowered Success, and the guides are right there as well. And really, what I want to finish up in talking about is really hiring the guides to help you build your business. So the tools that we use are all here. And we talk about the pipes, and it's so fun, like the way that they did this play on words. So the story goes like, the story goes like there were two men in a village who wanted to make some money, and they both brought water down from the river up to the village, right? And one of the guys figured out that he could build a pipeline. There's the word pipe. He could build a pipeline and start actually creating a residual income for himself. The other guy continued just hauling buckets every day, trading dollars for hours, right? So eventually the guy with the pipeline has better, fresher, cleaner water, makes more money, and gets to do whatever he wants while he makes money, which is great. That's what we're doing. So you've got the pipeline, and we have broken it down into PIPES, just so you remember it, right? It just makes it easy. So within your P, your first P, you've got all of your materials that you need to prepare. And then you've got invite. So within the invite, you have your Healthy Can Be Simple guides. You've got just information that maybe you would hand out with samples, right? Some little things like that, just to pique people's interest. And then you've got your Natural Solutions class that I will be presenting here also in just a little bit. So, and then you've got your enroll section. So once people enroll, then they are set on the path of live, share, or build. And then if they would like to launch their business officially, then we have a launch guide as well. All the guides are interwoven using the PIPES system. So it's like really nice, so it's not like a different thing, right? It makes it easy to follow. And truthfully, you don't even need, like, you could do, it's like a business in a box. You don't even need an offline. You don't even need me to tell you about PIPES. You can read it, you can download the guides, you can order the guides, and the whole thing is structured in such a clean, simple way. And the only X factor is you. How many people are you going to talk to about it, right? So that's why we started with that. So here's the build guide. So your job title when you are becoming a builder is that you commit to build the business. So you know, I kind of started with this, but I just want to reiterate, like, people choose to build for a lot of reasons, right? For me in the beginning, it was very much about getting out of my mother-in-law's house, making enough money to just be able to support my family, like on a very kind of minimal basis, and that was it. That's what drove me. And I think it's really amazing the way, and for me, my personal belief is that God knows me enough to know that that's what was going to get me to really step into my purpose in this life, right? And so that's where you guys are at, right? Like really looking at why you're building doTERRA, and what is it that, why did you choose to partner with doTERRA? Because not for everybody, it's not always just money, right? It's like impact and you know, co-impact sourcing and being a part of like the medical community that is using doTERRA and things like that. So, so the key here is really doing a business overview. And so I would ask you, if you're looking for builders, first of all, the question is, what would you ask someone? Someone raise their hand and tell me, what do you ask someone if they, you know, if you're wanting them to build a business with you? It was the first thing I talked about. Yes.
Curious. I'm curious. Are you open to learning more about earning money with doTERRA?
Awesome. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So if they say yes, so here's the thing, and I call people out on this. I think you're more afraid of people saying yes than you are them saying no, actually. Yeah. So what if they say yes? Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? You're going to do a business overview, okay? And you're going to use the build guide to do it. So you don't have to memorize stuff. So this is going to be about 20 to 30 minutes, and this actually goes through, like, if you need someone to tell you, like, exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it, I mean, it breaks it down. Like, okay, 2 to 5 minutes, making connections, telling your own story, where did you come from, why are you here, state your intention, which your intention is that you are looking to build your doTERRA team. You're looking for doTERRA team leaders, right? I think. I mean, yes.
I have a question. I often hear people like offline talking about how you shouldn't really be looking for builders, right? You should just be sharing the product, and then over time, they're going to feel compelled to dive into a business aspect. Where, like, from this I'm gathering, it's more of like, I see the potential in you, like, are you interested? Let's roll.
Which one feels better for you?
Is that, like, truthfully, like, you just go with what feels better for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think maybe, so I think for me, what I'm teaching in this presentation is how to find builders, right? So when we did talk about your customer service and making those calls and really massaging your current group, right? And looking for those people. but I still feel like a lot of them need to be invited, right? It's like an invitation. Like, a lot of people aren't going to just raise their hand and be like, okay, I want to build now. You know what I mean? It's more like, and they may, but for me, like, I like to kind of have my clear expectations of like my timetable. And if I'm going for silver or something, you know, I really am looking for 3 elites. And I would like to know if you would like to be one of those elites with me, right? So I think it's getting comfortable asking some of those questions. So the answer is yes, right, in all of the things. And it just depends on which level of your business that you're at currently, and secondly, what your intention is. But my advice is, if your intention is to find builders, that you're asking those builder questions, even with your current members as well.
Yeah, because I've shared, and then it's almost like I'm waiting for the opportunity to be like, so, are you ready?
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to like my personality, I'd be like, listen, here's the deal. Like, do you want to do it or not? Like, that's kind of.
I'm feeling that more from you. I feel like, I'm like, how do you feel about it? Because that one sounds better. Yeah, that sounds, I don't know you personally, but I'm feeling a lot more integrity there of you going, actually, I'm building a business. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to pretend like I'm not building a business. So when you are clear with your intention and what you're doing, it feels way better to everybody. Even if they say no to you right now, it still feels better when you're clear about what your intention really is. Yeah. It's also good to build relationships though, right? And we've talked about that. Like, just building relationships and loving people where they are and all that is good too. But those people can go on your second and third level because you're actually looking for the real builders. Okay? All right. Okay, so the build guide. So when you're going through the build guide, okay, so this is the build guide. Like, you open the build guide and it talks about the pipes. And really you're helping people make a few decisions. So decision number 1, again, this is your business overview. Decision number 1, are you going to choose to keep hauling buckets, or are you going to choose to start building a financial pipeline? And make sure that's clear, that if they don't choose to start doTERRA building a business with you, that's cool. You're not mad. Everyone's good. We love oils. We'll put on some cheer and some peace, and it's fine. But they are choosing to continue hauling buckets, okay? Like dollars for hours, unless they are like some big-time investor or something, which is possible, but most people are hauling buckets, right? So just make sure that that is clear, so that when they're making a decision to say yes or no, that they understand what they are saying no to and what they are saying yes to. Okay? So decision number 2, choose to partner with the doTERRA difference. So page 2 of the build guide shows people some of the interesting and factual things about doTERRA. When you're looking to partner with a company, you want to know that doTERRA's retention rate is 65%. And the way I like to explain that is, if you worked really, really hard and you signed up 100 people in a year, the next year from now, at least 65% or 65 of those people are going to continue to be at least purchasing products. You guys, that is amazing. Like, that is unprecedented in any other MLM company, I promise you. Like, when we talk about that, like, that blows everybody away. And I have personally witnessed that time after time. When people decide that, you know, maybe building right now it's not the right time for them, or they can't do it, or they don't want to do it, they still buy oils. You know, it's amazing. And that's because the product it sells itself, right? And it works. And people, once they become an oil junkie, they can't stop being an oil junkie. So it's great. It also talks about their doTERRA's growth and the corporate management team, as well as caring and changing the world, which again means a lot to us, and that's a big culture that we want to create on our team, so that people know that they can join doTERRA and be a part of a culture that's changing the world through certified pure therapeutic grade oils that are sourced around the world where they grow indigenously, that allows us to be able to go into those countries and make a difference at the ground level with those people. So I love that. That's a big draw. Okay, so the next thing is for you to expose them to the levels of compensation. And I love the way this is drawn out, because it talks about 4 ways that you get paid, and it color codes them so nicely that you see at the very bottom is the purple, and you guys probably can't read it, but it does say Fast Start. And that corresponds with the purple section here on the right-hand side that says Fast Start Bonus. And again, these are all in the build guide. So if you guys have build guides or you download them or whatever, you can all be following along with that or check it out later. But it starts with a Fast Start Bonus. And so I just explained that. That's going to be the fastest way that you get paid. Okay? And one thing that I like to point out to people when I'm talking about Fast Start bonuses is that not only can you start a chain of Fast Start, so 20%, 10%, and 5%, you can also start a 20%, 10%, and 5% like all over the place. You know what I mean? Like I think sometimes people think like, oh, so you would get 20% on like one person and 10% on one person, you know. I like to point out that like I'm getting 5% every single week of people that I don't even know. Right? So it multiplies very quickly depending on the number of people who you bring in. And that's really, really exciting. Okay? So that's Fast Start. And I just briefly cover the ways that they get paid. Okay? Do you guys have questions about the compensation plan or how it works or how to explain it? Don't be shy.
I'm going to take a drink. Just how to explain it. How to explain it.
Okay. I didn't know if I needed it. I'm happy to cover it. I just didn't know if I should. Okay. I actually love teaching compensation plan. It's like when we do boot camps, it's like, I'm like, let me teach that. Because it's just straight numbers. It just makes sense, you know? So the next way you get paid is Power of 3. So did you understand? So with Fast Start, I'm like 20% to the person who signs them up, then 10% to them, and 5% to them. And that's how that works. So the Power of 3, with the Power of 3, with as few, here's this is a good one. You might want to write this down. With as few as 39 people in your organization, you can make $1,500 a month. Every month. Not just one time. Okay? Looking at building for your Power of 3 is actually one of the best ways to look at building your business. It really is. It's the fastest way to make $1,500 a month. For sure. So structuring 3 people who have 3 people who each have 3 people who are ordering monthly on the Loyalty Rewards program of at least 100 points. Ideally, everyone's doing 150 because that maximizes the Power of 3 with 39 people. Okay? You get 1,500 and your 3 front lines each get 250. A lot of times when I'm working with someone who, just getting going and they want to hit silver, but they're not quite sure like where to aim, I actually advise silver is really good. I love silver. You get to come to leadership. It's a leadership rank. But look at your 250. Look at your 1,500. Ask people not, do you want to hit elite, but do you want to make $250 a month sharing oils? You know, just a little supplement to what you're already doing. And that is easier for people to understand, right? Making $250 a month, getting your oils paid for, that sort of thing. So that's what the Power of 3 does. So moving up in our color coordinate, this looks like a heat graph or something, right? So moving up, it starts to turn green. And you can see how it takes a little while longer. See how it like corresponds, like this says elite, and at elite, you are kind of mostly making your money from Fast Starts. That's why it's purple, right? And when you get to Premier, you're still mostly purple, but maybe a little bit of Power of 3. And then as you get into silver and gold, then your unilevel and some of your leadership pools start to get bigger. See how those colors start to get bigger? That's meant to speak to all the people who learn based on colors and visuals and words and dancing and everything else. Okay, so anyway, that's the way that I like to explain those first 2 things in the color. So with unilevel, it's very simple. You get paid 2% on everyone who is on your first level, down to 7% on everyone who's on your 7th level. And most companies actually do it opposite of this. Most companies actually pay you more on the higher levels and less on the lower levels. And I just want you to kind of see how you are going to have thousands of people eventually on your lower level. So it's better to make the most on the most amount of people and the least on the least amount of people, okay? So that's why that's actually flipped that way. But they do give you Fast Starts and Power of 3 and Premier bonuses and everything. So it's really not even the least on the least amount of people. But in terms of unilevel, it is the least on those first few levels right there. Okay, so next is the orange, and this will be the last one that we'll talk about. There's a few other ways to make money, but they more apply on like individual basis, like founders clubs and things like that in different countries, okay? So the leadership bonus pool. So when you are silver, then you get, I like to call this profit sharing. So doTERRA is over $1 billion company now. So who wants profit sharing of $1 billion? Yes, absolutely. And it's only going up. I mean, they have sites and structure and everything to be multiple $1 billion, okay?
I think now it's Premier. They give a bonus to Premier.
Yeah, they do give a bonus to premiers, absolutely. So the bonus for premier is called the empowerment bonus. And it's good, yeah, they don't call it, it's not, I don't know, it's not called a leadership bonus, but you're right, they do. They give, and you guys, no company does that. Like, they don't change their compensation plan to pay their people more, okay? Like, when they just came out with this new premier thing, I'm like, what? You're gonna pay your people more now? Like, that's amazing. Usually companies will take bonuses away just because they're restructuring their comp plan or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, so at Premier you also get a bonus. And you just base it based on, you know, at silver, again, I think is the easiest to understand. It's you have your 3 elites. So always going back to the launch guide, and how do you get launched? You launch to elite. And when you launch to elite, then you know how to launch others to elite, and you can do the same and start building. So I like to say, it only takes 54 elites to be a presidential diamond, okay? So if you are already one, then you only have 53 more to go, okay? So you're doing great. Anyway, so because this is just kind of like a business overview, I'm just kind of going over the comp plan, not going like super, super detailed, but I'm just showing them how they could make money without overwhelming them too much, okay? So decision number 3 in the build guide is choose how big you want to play. And I love this because a lot of times people will say, oh yeah, I want to build a business, I want to be a builder. And I let them see that there's actually different ways that they can do that, right? Like you can be just kind of like a builder where you pay for your product, right? And it's just nice. I don't know if you guys can see that very good. It's not. Do I need to do anything else? No, it's like. Hold on. You pressed play that one time and it made it look better. Okay, I'm just gonna let it. So there's 3 levels of play, meaning number 1 is you just want to get your products paid for. Okay, and that would look like, you know, just personally enrolling a few people and, you know, teaching them about loyalty rewards. And some people are just cool with that. Like, that's the kind of builder they want to be. And what's nice is you just ask them the questions in the beginning so you know where to place them in your organization. So you know, like, oh, this is a builder, but it's like a level 1 type of a builder, meaning they just want to dibble-dabble in it, and that's cool. We love those people. Number 2 is to supplement your income. So they would be shooting for, you know, elite, silver, and eventually gold, just to create like a supplemental income. Usually gold's, I mean, I like to say gold is the game changer, because at gold, you could probably quit your job. You may not want to, but you could, right? It's kind of that gold, that game changer where you're supplementing your income at a pretty steady pace. And then, of course, you know, replacing your income goes all the way up to diamond and beyond. So it's nice because it gives you those boxes for people to just choose. What kind of builder do you want to be, right? Any questions about that? Okay. So here's the thing. This is how we do it. It's duplication. It's not more complicated than using the build guide, having those conversations with people, and just explaining the business. This is the business of doTERRA. And these are the things that we do, and we do it repeatedly over and over and over. We teach other people how to do it over and over and over. And of course, we bring in our own heart, we bring in the oils, we bring in like our vision and, you know, all the things that we want to create. But like it was like the girl, I think Vanessa is the girl that said in the video that I showed you guys in the beginning, I have always had this desire to go and serve people that live in Latin America and, you know, create all these initiatives around the world. And doTERRA is the vehicle to get me there. And so just looking at that build guide and knowing like this is the actual business of doTERRA and this is what we're going to do to create that. So it's actually very simple. And I think when it's simple, then people can get it. I'm going to use you as an example. I've spent a lot of time with Melissa today. It's been awesome. But, you know, we were having this conversation about how you've had different builders on your team, right? And they're excited and they jump in, and then something happens and they just get lost, or they don't feel like they want to do it anymore, or they can't do it, or different life circumstances come up. And I think everyone is different. So it may not be what happened to your people, but what my mind goes to is people want to do this. They love it. They love the oils. They feel like the community. They think it's awesome. But they get lost when it's confusing. They get lost when they don't think that they can do it. Right? So you go back to those levels of belief, and they're like, yeah, doTERRA is awesome. You've explained it to me. I get it. Network marketing, I'm working on it. It's pretty cool. I'm not quite sure yet because I haven't made a lot of money in it yet, but I think it's good, right? That's usually what people will say. But the level of belief in themselves is, I don't know how I'm going to integrate myself into this business. And as the leader, as the business builder, as the one who's trying to attract builders, the more clear you make this from the beginning, the more successful you're going to be. Okay, so don't make it messy and roundabout. Use the guides and let those guides be your tools and build the business for you. Alrighty, so 6:10, I think. I'm gonna maybe open it up for questions, give you guys a little break, move around, I'll start the class. I think we'll start at 6:30, if that's okay. Did you guys, I know there was 2 different times, but is 6:30 cool with everybody? Okay, awesome. Question?
Yeah, I have a question. The couple you were telling us about, what was their attraction to the business? Because it sounded like they were already very successful in whatever business they already had.
Yeah.
So what drew them?
Yeah, honestly, it was different for both of them. So for Melford, he's just a businessman. He was like, wow, I see that compensation plan. I can make $1 million a year doing that. I'm going to do that. Like, he just was straight business. Because a lot of times people who are in business, they're kind of addicted to building businesses. You know what I mean? They're like, they know they can do it, and it's like an achievement. So these are the kind of people who have like achievement at a really high. It's really important to them to like conquer and achieve things, So for him, that's what it was. For Conchetta, though, she had been building an online business for a while, and I think she just was craving community. She really wanted to get out and, put her hands on people and teach people. They were running a very successful gym. They've done a ton of, they've had gyms and online businesses and all that kind of thing, and she missed being around people and creating a community. So, yeah, and I think that's a really great question, and that is just as you're looking at having conversations with people, it's really about finding what speaks to them, and doTERRA does have something for everyone, so it's just a matter of shining light on maybe 1 or 2 things that doTERRA has. So if you have someone who they don't really care about all the philanthropic stuff. It's fine, it's cute, but they're not into it right now. Don't talk about that. It's not what they're into. But if they are very driven by philanthropic stuff, maybe talk more about all the service that you guys could do together and a little bit less about all the money that you would make. Maybe that turns them off a little bit, right? So really the skill here is about knowing people and knowing how to, either you already know them or you're able to ask really good questions that get them talking about what means the most to them.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know what the demographics are within the company as to the age group and whatnot, because I look at the magazines and whatnot, and most of them are like your demographic, relatively young, middle-aged kids who are all trying to get out of their mother-in-law's basement. And, they usually have some kind of financial impetus that they're wanting. And so I'd be very interested to see just whether or not there are any, well, I'm sure there are some, but in that older age group here,
absolutely,
who are, been there, done that, and maybe my financial thing isn't such a big deal for me. I'm out of my mother's basement.
Yes, thank goodness.
And maybe we're trying to kick the kids out of the basement. But anyways, and how do you approach people who are in that demographic where, like right now, I winter down here, but I'm from Northern Ontario, so the people who are in the club that I'm at, they're like, they got more money than Moses, right? So they don't give a hoot about this. So to do this, would you? No, they're looking for free time. They want to do nothing.
Yeah.
So outside of maybe appealing to them in terms of, the oils themselves and the natural things like that.
Yeah.
So I just, like I say, be interested to know, given that that's my pond,
Yeah.
where am I going to go with it?
So first of all, people with more money than Moses definitely want to stay super healthy so that they can enjoy that money, right? That's the biggest thing, because I know what you mean. My mother-in-law is on my front line. She's 64 or something, and she has had these same questions. And anyway, I've worked with a few women in that age group, and what I love is that they are so mostly concerned with their own health and helping people in that age group get really healthy so that they can enjoy that money. I've heard it over and over and over. So it's not necessarily like a business perspective, like, do you want to make money? Do you want to do this or that? It really comes from, your money's not going to mean anything to you if you feel like crap, or if you are in the hospital, or if you have some debilitating disease, something like that, right? So that's how you have those conversations with people, I think, in that. Obviously, this is an individual conversation that you're having with people, right? Okay. So then the other thing is when you're retired and the money isn't quite as much of a pull for you, but what are you doing? Are you bored? Like, how much do you really enjoy just going golfing and going to the pool every single day? Do you want to have your heart opened at this point to something else? And that's where I think it comes in with you. Why are you doing it? Because if you feel this way at your age, there's got to be other people that feel this way at your age, right? So it's really.
I'm going to share with her one of the hottest Facebook groups.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was going to mention it, but yeah, go ahead.
These women are rock stars, and it's called Building doTERRA at Age 50 Plus.
Yes.
And they are amazing. The skill set that they're trying to help you learn and pick up that you may not have for the business or anything you